didn't use it in race 1, which is everyone because it was wet, is now using it in race 2. So everybody on the silver sidewall tyre is the soft option tyre.
There you can see further back in the queue, we've got Bobby Thompson. There is also Dan Welch's car, and Ollie Jackson has now arrived as well. So 5 late starters, but indecision about tyres. It may be that they've done the right thing anyway, going for the slicks and starting from the pit lane, but we'll have to wait and see how this race pans out. Now, Ash Sutton from the front of the grid, Dan Camish with clear real estate ahead of him. He could be another one to watch in this. It's going to be another fascinating race.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, it's slightly different normal second race where they're not racing for the top 12 positions.
Yeah.
They're just racing for points in this race. Race 3 has already had qualifying for the special diamond double race. So for Jack Goff, he just needs to look after his car now and not cause any more damage. I don't know what the problem was. They were working on the car as I walked past the garage and just simply ran out of time.
So everybody accelerates away, and it is a gap where Jack Goff would have been for pole position. Ash Sutton is there, however, on the outside of row 1. Dan Camish and Josh Cook, 2 to watch. They will start on the second row ahead of Sam Tordoff and Rob Austin, 6th in the Alfa Romeo. Then it's Chris Smiley, 7th, Tom Oliphant's Mercedes for company, ahead of Dan Lloyd and Adam Morgan. 11th is Brett Smith. Andrew Jordan will start 12th ahead of Tom Chilton and then Matt Neal. 15th, Colin Turkington. Aidan Moffat made progress in race 1. He's alongside ahead of James Cole. Bobby Thompson's another one starting from the back. Michael Caine and Stephen Jelly next. Dan Welch will be from the back of the grid. Sam Smelt 22nd. And Wharton Eels comes next. Jason Plato alongside. Then Senna Proctor on row 13. Matt Simpson alongside him. Tom Ingram, alternator dramas. It was the same problem for Rory Butcher. They share row 14. Problems in race 1. Mike Bushell, who got some damage and went farming in the opening race, will start 29th. Rob Collard is going to be 30th on the grid, and Ollie Jackson would have been at the back, come what may, but he's now going to be starting behind others out of sequence as the drivers now work the infield section of the Snetterton 300 layout. And Jack Goff then, rather than starting at the front, is going to have a lot of work to do to try to get up through the traffic. And there is Michael Caine in the Team Hard Run Volkswagen, starting from the back of the grid. Now, option tyre for everybody if you're on the slick, and Jack Goff with 75 kilos coming from the rear of the field. Ash Sutton's got 66. Of course, you take your top 10 and you apply weight accordingly. So 75 for Jack Goff is the winner of race 1, all the way down to 9 kilos for Adam Morgan.
Very tricky conditions. We're on board with Tom Chilton. He's got the clear glasses on. We saw him qualifying yesterday. He had his tinted glasses on. That's the difference in the weather. It was sunny yesterday. It certainly isn't today. But yeah, tricky conditions. They've had one lap out onto the pits with for the front-wheel drive cars, the rear wheels on the front to get some temperature into them, then cross them over. But these are still very tricky conditions, particularly for front-wheel drive cars with a lack of temperature in the rear. That's why you see the drivers working so hard. Look at Dan Lloyd really trying hard. It's like he's on a race lap, isn't it? But he's just trying to get as much heat as possible in those tyres. Matt Neal looking a little bit more relaxed.
Yes, huge amounts of experience in that car. Matt, a winner, of course, already this season in this new for 2018 Honda Civic, a new shape car. Gordon Shedden, as you see, is here to cheer him on. Gordon having been an interested spectator at the Spa 24 Hours for a couple of days, but you can't keep him away from the British Touring Car Championship, so he is here to cheer on Matt Neal. And Dan Camish, of course, who took Gordon's seat when he departed for the World TCR Championship at the start of this year. There is Tom Oliphant, who's had a pretty impressive debut season. He will line up with Chris Smiley just ahead of him there, number 22 for 7th on the grid. Chris Smiley 8th, Tom Oliphant. As ever, for Snetterton's annual visit of the British Touring Car Championship, the spectator banks are busy, and despite the weather, everybody in fine form getting ready to cheer on Rob Austin, I think. Certainly that gang of spectators. The Rob Austin Racing Supporters Club ready to cheer Rob's Alfa from 6th, but others have got their favourites in the crowd as well. So is the road going to dry? Is there any more rain on the way? It's still fairly grey and gloomy overhead. Dan Camish then from the second row of the grid, but a big, big gap ahead of him where there is no Jack Goff. Is this going to be Dan Camish's day of days? But equally, the way that Ash Sutton was going in the opening race, he must start as a real bat for a win here. Well,
also, he's almost certain to get the start. Rear-wheel drive car against front-wheel drive in slightly damp conditions should always favour the rear-wheel drive car. So Sutton is going to be away first. Obviously, the cars are in order in terms of success ballast. So you've got to say Sutton, although he's got 66 kilos on, he's going to make a real race of this.
And from the back of the grid. Let's take Jack Goff first of all. He's got the weight, but we know he's got the pace. Depends, I suppose, on whatever the problem was that condemned him to that late
But
start.
he won't take any risks with a car that's going to be guaranteed on pole for race 3. He doesn't want to risk accident damage or anything else at all. So I think he'll pick his fate fairly carefully, hope for some other retirements, hope for some safety cars, and see where he is at the end.
We are about to find out. There, the front of the grid is all lined up and ready to go. And Ash Sutton then on the outside of the front of the grid. Josh Cook could be a man to watch in this. And Jason Plato going for the pit lane. So Jason Plato's Subaru is going to be a pit lane starter. Is this a mechanical drama or is this all to do with tyres?
Well, he's doing practice starts as he comes in, so he hasn't got a problem. I think he just wants to avoid a start line accident and start from the end of the pit lane, because he doesn't look like he wouldn't be doing practice starts and things if he had a problem. Look,
you're right.
He's coming straight to the end of the pit lane.
So that would put him behind any potential first corner accidents. So Jason would have been 24th on the grid. He's not losing too much, yet he goes straight to the end of the pit lane. Michael Caine also has given up 19th on the grid to start from the back. So you've got a kind of second grid almost of those that were allowed out of the pit lane to go and line up at the rear of the field. So you've got Jack Goff then starting on effectively now the inside of row 16. But Ash Sutton has the front row all to himself. We're ready for round 17 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. It's a 12-lap race. The lights are red. Ash Sutton should get the start as we go racing. He does. He's away like a scalded cat. Josh Cook bobs down the big. Rob Austin's got nowhere to go. Eventually goes to the outside line as they surge up towards Riches for the first time. Sam Tordoff is on the inside line, so it is going to be Ash Sutton that leads. Second is Camish. Third is Rob Austin. Around the outside here comes Chris Smiley. He's ahead of Josh Cook. And Smiley rubs with Rob Austin. The Alpha just ahead. A dab of the brakes from Smiley. Off goes Turkington. Championship leader goes farming out of turn 1. He's going to get back on the road, but Turkington tumbles down the order. Sutton leads Camish and Chris Smiley is third. Fantastic start.
Great start by Smiley, as predicted. Ash Sutton got away well. Adam Morgan had a terribly slow, painfully slow drive across, and there he's had a spin further back. So a disastrous first lap for Adam Morgan. Don't know what the problem was. There's Plato, who started for the pit lane. There wasn't actually an accident on the start, but nevertheless Plato has avoided any problems. You see the drivers still weaving, still tippy-toeing around, trying to get heat in the slicks.
Josh Cook goes ahead of Rob Austin and Turkington with broken suspension, a legacy of the first corner dramas. He's out of the race, and this, like last year, is going to be a bad weekend for Turkington. Damage to the rear of the BMW. This is going to turn things on its head. Remember, Tom Ingram is coming from a long way back on the grid after dramas in race 1. Jack Goff is coming from the back of the grid, having missed the pit lane closing time, and he has crept up to third in the championship. So now Ingram has got to get a wriggle on and try and salvage something while it's Turkington in strife.
It's a typical BTCC championship fluctuator, isn't it? Ingram has a problem, Turkington has a problem. It just opens the door and closes it, and it'll carry on this way, folks, for the whole of the second half of the year.
So that's the subplot to the race, which is nose to tail, Ash Sutton versus Dan Camish. All season we've been asking the question, when will Dan Camish have this breakthrough win? Well, he's looking very racy at the moment as Tom Oliphant comes up alongside Andrew Jordan. The Mercedes goes by, but Jordan tries to get the undercut. Can't do it, gets a face full of Mercedes, and the door is just about ajar. AJ looks on the inside line, can't do it, and these are the two race leaders. Ash Sutton ahead of Dan Camish, with Chris Smiley right there in the mix as well. He's third, getting away slightly from Josh Cook at the end of the opening lap. Ash Sutton leads, Camish second, and Smiley slides out wide all over the curb.
And Cook followed him right as well. The big slide for Oliphant. It's so tricky. Look, you can see the greasy track nature there.
And Ingram making good progress. Look, as he came down towards the end of the lap, he started 27th on the grid, Tom Ingram. The leaders come over the line, and Ingram at the end of the opening lap. Let's see where he's going to be, because he's in the mix. He's 12th from 27th in 1 lap alone.
That is fantastic. What a brilliant lap for Ingram. Fantastic.
So 1 of 12 done. What progress. His next target, as he heads now towards the hairpin at Wilson, is going to be Brett Smith. Now there, Ash Sutton leading the way. Dan Camish only 4 tenths back when they started this second lap of the race.
And that was 15 places gained on 1 lap for Tom Ingram. Absolutely brilliant.
Not bad, not bad. So Sutton leads the way. Camish second, down towards Agostini they come. And Sutton is not getting away as Camish runs up the inside. Is this the chance for the race lead? Not quite. Dan doesn't force the issue, and Sutton covers the line as they come out of the corner. Now, if they delay themselves, will this give Chris Smiley a chance to join the leading battle? Sutton in race 1, of course, was on the attack. Now he's the hunted.
And we've seen Cammish in these situations before when he gets a taste of the front, but he's up against one of the best, if arguably not the best, touring car drivers. It's both young drivers, but a fight between experience and not. Now, this is the contact. We're going to see Turkington on the outside, minding his own business. Oh, there was a touch from Smith on the inside, which forced the Norling car out into Turkington and caused the damage.
Yeah, it was Dan Lloyd, wasn't it, that got the tap from Smith, and then, as you say, into Turkington. So Colin, the innocent party in all of that, but circumstance, that was what Jason Plato was trying to avoid by starting from the pit lane. Rob Austin ahead of Sam Tordoff. Jordan ahead of Chilton. There is Tom Ingram. That's put him up into 11th place now, so he's already dispensed Brett Smith. Aidan Moffat going strongly in this second race. He had a little bit of geometry damage in the opener. The MGs are getting in on the act as well. Look, here is Mike Bushell just ahead of Rory Butcher, and then behind is Matt Neal, who's dropped down the order.
He's got a load of damage on the back of Matt Neal's car. Wait till it comes in shot. Yeah, look, the bodywork's flapping, so he's had a rub up the back from somebody.
And Jack Goff has gone through ahead of him. So Jack is up into 16th place, which isn't bad going from the rear of the grid. And that's Bobby Thompson elbowing his way up alongside Matt Neal, and they touch and they both get sideways. Can Matt hang on to it? Yes, he can. So can Bobby Thompson. And Matt Neal, with so many years of experience in racing front-wheel drive touring cars, managed to save a monster slide. And not only that, he kept Thompson behind him.
He had full power and full lock. Turkington in the pits. 0 points from this race from him, but at least it doesn't consign him to the back of the grid for race 3.
Good point, because that grid already decided through the second session in yesterday's all-action day. Now this, Jack Goff ahead of us. Matt Neal will get a touch in a moment. Bobby Thompson looks for a way by. Round comes the back.
Listen to those revs as he absolutely floored it on full lock. Didn't overcorrect it, held the slide beautifully.
Rob Austin under attack, look, from the trim trailing forward of Sam Tordoff as they come down now towards Agostini. Tom Oliphant is there behind him in 7th place, going very nicely indeed. But it's good to see the Alfa Romeo going strongly after that podium at the start of the season. The team had a few bad results, but Rob Austin, he's way down the grid for the third race because the turbo pipe came off. But here, he's going really nicely. Tordoff attacks, dives up the inside from a long way back, and through he goes. Is he going to go wide? Yes, he is. Rob Austin's back up the inside. Can he get the place? Yes, Rob Austin comes back through on the inside line, but Sam Tordoff stands his ground all the way around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Side by side they run onto Bentley Straight, and Tom Oliphant tries to get a tow and work out which way he can go. Dan Lloyd is in on the act as well. Fabulous racing, and Tordoff will have the inside line for the next corner. But Rob Austin, the inside for the one after that. Can he stand alongside? Yes, he can. Tordoff goes deep into the corner. Oliphant tries to find a way around the outside of Austin. And he does it, and Rob gets back through, and it's elbows up, but Tordoff has made it stick, and here comes Lloyd. He gets past the Mercedes. Job done, going into bomb hole. Rob Austin's got damage. He slides out wide. Lloyd gets past him. But has Rob Austin got damage that's going to be serious enough to put him out of the race? I fear he may have done. The car is crabbing.
Yeah, he's limping back, just one too many contacts. It was almost inevitable. They were side by side, ducking for position, and just a little bit of damage on the car. Here are the leaders back at the front, and the gap between Cammish and Sutton's gone out a little bit, but stayed about the same to Smiley and Cook. Here comes Tordoff, who's now through into 5th place.
And Dan Lloyd is 6th, Tom Oliphant is 7th, 8th is Andrew Jordan, and now 9th is Tom Ingram, 9th from 27th. He's getting the hang of this.
And looking fast as well, that car's stable.
Oh, Matt Neal.
Oh, Matt Neal off. He's already had contact and damage, and that's on the exit of Murray's coming onto the start-finish line. Did he get turned around there, or...? I'm surprised he didn't retire. Had enough. Oh, there's more going on here behind Tordoff. What's going on? Oliphant, here comes... Look, Ingram is in front of Jordan. He was behind at the start of that lap.
And there you've got Brett Smith ahead of Dan Lloyd, who gets a touch from the Ford of Chilton, gets all sideways and he saves it. And here comes Aidan Moffat. Moffat blasts through, Senna Proctor looking for a way round on the outside. There's Matt Simpson in on the act as well. Where to look next? Moffat on the inside. You're riding with Dan Lloyd. This is Agostini, the corner. Moffat on the inside, Proctor on the outside. Lloyd tries to find a way through here. Everywhere you look, there's a battle going on. But Dan Lloyd, of course, has dropped a long way back. He was 6th at the start of the lap.
Yeah, so he's the one that suffered out of that conflagration.
Yes. out of all the dramas. So
well, I said it'd be tricky in this race, and cars are definitely finding it tricky.
Because it's neither wet nor dry, is it now? It's this really treacherous, greasy in-between stage. Ash Sutton leading by 1.6 seconds. We're on lap 4 of 12. There is Tom Oliphant ahead of Tom Ingram. And then Andrew Jordan next up. Can't play with him because he's not called Tom, so he's got to find his own battle. But the leading cars working their way out of Coram. Now, as Dan Cammish drops back from the race leader, here Chris Smiley third is being caught and pursued vigorously by Josh Cook. But can they get up to Cammish? Let's see. Last time, Cook lapped quicker than Smiley to get onto turns. Josh Cook might be able to go after the Dynamics Honda if he can get past Chris Smiley, who is not going to make life easy.
No, definitely not. I mean, Smiley wants to win a race, and this is as good an opportunity of anything. As anything happens to the guys in front, he's certainly got really good pace, and doesn't seem to have suffered from missing that tyre test, does he?
No. The meatball flag, the black and orange mechanical warning flag you may have seen from the pit wall, that's for Ollie Jackson. Still having a pretty horrible day. And Adam Morgan, by the way, out of the race, retired into the pit lane. Dan Lloyd on board. Does this explain? Well, he must have gone wide at Ritchie's already because he's lost places before the hairpin.
Yeah, he'd already had a problem. And there goes Ingram at the front, look, passing Jordan.
And off goes Chilton, so Brett Smith gets up and past him. You watch one battle, I'll watch the other. There's so much going on.
We need more than 2 eyes on this job. There's too much going on.
So Dan Lloyd then gets a tap.
Then got sideways.
Yeah, that was Chilton coming back at him. Yes, yes. To me, to you.
Yeah.
And he gets his place back that way. There's another meatball flag going out for number 21, Mike Bushell's Volkswagen. The meatball flag is the black and orange mechanical warning flag. There is a problem with your car you may not be aware of. The scrutineers are concerned about it. Right, this is for third place. Chris Smiley ahead of Josh Cook. While they're battling, of course, this is taking some of the pressure off Dan Cammish, but Ash Sutton could be on here for a third win of the season.
Yeah, he certainly could. He's got the measure of Cammish at the moment, and got his tyres up to temperature, at least a working temperature. May not be ideal, but a good working temperature, and then a big gap back to Tordoff.
It's a monster gap, isn't it? Tordoff is there in 5th. Tom Oliphant is in 6th place. Ingram is still 7th. And then for 8th place behind, it's Andrew Jordan. Then it's Senna Proctor now in 9th place. And into the top 10 has come Tom Chilton. So Brett Smith has dropped back into 11th. Moffat is 12th, Dan Lloyd 13th. Matt Simpson is 14th. And in 15th place at the moment, it is Matt Walton-Eels in the MG.
This is all very good news for reigning champion Ash Sutton, isn't it? Remember, he had obviously such a big score, 53 odd points, I think it was, at Croft. Didn't expect to come here and score a bunk of points, but with Turkington and Ingram struggling, and he's had so far a second, he was on for a win here. Ash Sutton is going to bag a big bag of points.
Colin Turkington back out now, treating this as a test session to make sure the car is right, ready for race 3. There is Matt Simpson heading up towards the timing line. Dad Jeff absent from Snetterton this weekend, hurt in an accident at work during the week. Jeff, get well soon. The paddock sends its best wishes to you. Matt Simpson turns now 14th through Riches.
Yeah, looking good. Close group, that's it, all the way back.
The Toms are side by side. Here they come, and it is Oliphant versus Ingram. And Tom Oliphant stays ahead coming out of turn 2, the hairpin. So the Mercedes fends off the Toyota. There's the race leader. Now, the gap was 2.3 seconds last time, but Dan Cammish did the fastest lap of the race last time through, so the gap has come down slightly.
Well, that's an interesting sign. He's got some temperature in his tyre behind. Cook absolutely all savaging the back of Smiley's car.
But Chris Smiley is not to be denied, is he? So great battle for 3rd and 4th places this. Chris Smiley losing touch with the top 2, but he knows how to defend.
He certainly does. He's a really good racer, really good racer. Look, Cook's going to look the long way round. Will he duck to the inside? No.
So Smiley hangs on, comes down through the S's, covers the line to try and prevent Josh Cook's squirting up the inside. Josh goes to the outside, back to the inside. No, still no way through there.
Much better traction though from the Vauxhall there of Josh Cook. He had really good traction out the bomb hole. Look, he's cutting to the inside now. Is there enough for a gap? There will be. Should be later on the brakes, and Smiley thinks better of it, but gets into the back, but they recover, and Cook does take the position.
So Chris Smiley just tags the back of the Powermax Tag Racing Vauxhall Astra coming down to the final corner on lap 6. But Josh Cook goes through. He takes the last podium place. Now, can he do anything about Dan Cammish? This is going to be fascinating. It's a clear lap now for Cook, so we need to start looking at sector times. There is Colin Turkington. He's 4 laps down. He's out of the points, indicating he's going to get out of the way, but he's just making sure the car is good for later in the day as Ingram dives up the inside to go ahead of Tom Oliphant. The Toyota goes 6th from 27th on the grid. Tingram's into the top 6.
That was a big move. Did you see the spray coming off the tyres as he went up the inside on the damp? Made a committed mover, didn't tap Oliphant, but of course it dragged him out to the outside of the track. But it was a great move. Matt Simpson now off at Riches, rejoins. But that was a great move by Ingram. But there isn't much further he can go because the group in front are so much further away.
Looking from Dan Lloyd's perspective at Aidan Moffat versus Tom Chilton. And this has become a battle for 11th. And Jason Plato's been off the road. There's quite a bit of damage. Is that at Riches?
It is. Looks like he's caught the end of the barrier there, front and rear.
So Jason Plato is out of the race. And he's not yet out of the car. Can it be retrieved from there? How did he get there even?
Now, has he got... We can't see if there's another car around. No, he just felt... No, there was no other car there. He just lost the rear. Just lost the rear. Oh,
he's going to get going
driving it again now.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't get out of the car. He's doing a bit of a Gilles Villeneuve. I'm going to drag this thing back and give the guys as much time as possible to fix it. But in fairness, that tyre, banded tyre, doesn't do too much damage. Turkington getting out of the way.
And so Brett Smith goes past, and so does Tom Chilton and Aidan Moffat and Dan Lloyd. And the better of the 2 MGs, and Walton Eels, who we knew was good last year. We never perhaps saw the best of. Now there is Jack Goff. We've overlooked him a little bit, but 17th at the start of this lap. Mike Bushell and Bobby Thompson right up behind him. And as they turn now towards Bombhole, we understand Dan Cammish has had a moment, and he did have one at Coram, and elects to go across the grass rather than fight the car and risk a spin.
Yeah, he was going to lose the rear if he didn't go across the grass, wouldn't he? We knew he'd been pushing. He was going as quickly as he possibly could, but he was not actually as quick as either Sutton or Cook, who set the fastest lap, only to be beat by Senna Proctor.
Exactly, the 2 Vauxhalls now the fastest cars out there. So Senna Proctor is in a big hurry to get onto terms with Andrew Jordan. We are on lap 8 out of 12. What a day of racing we're enjoying. There is Senna Proctor getting up the inside of Jordan. Job done. Through he goes at Wilson. So he's caught him, passed him, and now gets away. Up into 8th place goes Brands Hatch winner Senna Proctor, the Jack Sears Trophy winner from last year.
You have to say that Powermax, their team, done a really good job with those Vauxhalls. They've been good in all conditions all year. And they've given both Senna Proctor and Josh Cook, as Plato crawling back with broken rear tolling, unsurprisingly. But they've given them a really good car as Rory Butcher comes in the MG.
It was alternator dramas in the first race. So yes, Senna Proctor, fastest lap of the race. Now Sutton to Cammish in the first sector, the gap has gone up. Josh Cook lapping quicker than the 2 ahead of him. So Cook for 2nd place might be on here. He's got 4.3 seconds to make up, but he is absolutely storming. And in sector 1, he has taken over a second out of Cammish.
Well, Cammish had that moment, didn't he, going across the grass, which would have put water on the tyres and made it a bit slippery. He'd have been a bit cautious into the next 2 corners.
Yeah. Cook is quicker in sector 2. The absolute best middle sector now, Sam Tordoff. So there is an element of concertinaing going on. Where's Ingram in all of this? His next target is Tordoff. 1.7 seconds.
I was just going to say, is he catching Tordoff? Because because Tordoff has then got a gap of 10 seconds to Smiley. So I think he's going to pull that off.
That's Jason Plato going up to Hamilton. With 3 laps to go, he's never going to get to the pits in time, is he?
No, but he does want to give them the most amount of time to fix the car.
So they're going deep is Senna Proctor, runs wide, coming up now towards the timing line. Ingram, having got past Oliphant, is away and gone. Senna Proctor chasing after the Mercedes. And so Sutton is 4.5 seconds ahead of Cammish now, with Josh Cook doing the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 2.249. So he's 2.3 seconds back from Cammish. He's hacking into that. Through goes Brett Smith. There, look, Lloyd and Moffat side by side. Lloyd was 12th coming over the line, but Moffat gets the place back going into the first corner.
Well, Dan Lloyd might try and cut back, but Moffat did a good job of slowing the car down and not running wide.
Jack Goff
sorry, the track doesn't look like it's really dried much. They're still leaving lines on the track.
I was just going to say, Jack Goff is only in 15th place, so he's struggled to make the same progress that Tom Ingram did, but of course Tom made a lot of his early on when everyone was tightly bunched.
Yeah, and there are several cars in front of Jack Goff at the moment that he may be able to pick off, but he has got that 75 kilos on. The cars in front haven't got any. You can see that's affecting him.
Indeed so, and there, Jason Plato still trying to limp back as Ash Sutton goes through. That is a very crippled Subaru. Now, it's really eyes on second place, isn't it? There is Camshire. Look at the way that Cook is reeling him in the first sector. Half a second faster was Josh than Camish. In the second sector, the absolute best of anybody in the race is Josh Cook. 4 tenths closer to Dan Camish. He's got to make up 2.3 seconds, and he's going the right way about it.
I'll tell you what, there's going to come a point where Jason Plato is in the wrong place on the track because he's going so slowly, the car will hardly steer. Look, I'm hoping he's pulling that off because he's going to, if he was trying to get round that S's, at the speed he's going, or go round Coram and Murray's, he'd have really been a danger to the other cars. So I think that's sensible he's pulled that off.
So Aidan Moffat out of the old S's. Dan Lloyd tucked up behind him. They're fighting for 12th place, remember. Look at Dan Lloyd's hands working. Look at his feet stabbing on and off the pedals. Grabs a gear now towards Coram. Aidan Moffat always excels in these conditions. He reckons it's a throwback to his early oval racing days on horrible surfaces on oval tracks when he was in junior Bangor racing, for example. So he always prides himself on going well on a greasy track. He runs a little bit deep, though, coming out of the left-hander. Lloyd gets up alongside him. He skirts around the debris on the road. Moffat's got the inside line. They run side by side over the timing line. And as they cross the line, it was Moffat ahead by 21 thousandths of a second. But up the inside of the pair of them goes Ant Water-Niels. Moffat sideways, but Ant Water-Niels gains 2 places. Great stuff.
What a good move by Ant Water-Niels, and he's just announced about why he should still be in the BTCC by passing 2 cars in one go on the wet on the inside and still making the corner.
Senna Proctor's getting a warning flag about track limits, and that's Rob Collard who's gone off at what you might call Plato's corner by the look of it, because it's the same part of the road that Jason went missing at. And rear damage as you look at second and third that are as one now. Camish has been reeled in by Josh Cook, who is absolutely flying. Safety car deployed. Safety car will be deployed. Josh Cook makes his move against Dan Camish.
But the marshal's post on the left, as you look at it, did not show the safety car board. So Cook is entitled to overtake at that point until they get to see it. Now the board is out, but the move was done. I believe the move was done before they got to the safety car.
Well, both teams, no doubt, will have a view on that. And the race officials, if they think anything was untoward, will have a look. So let us see. But the safety car is deployed. Rob Collard is off at Riches.
Interesting that both Collard and Plato rear-wheel drive cars, perhaps losing temperature in the rear tyres, but that doesn't seem to have affected Sutton. But if Plato hadn't moved his car, Collard would have hit that car. Oh, Plato's got it back.
So that is a very strange car. And of course, Jason now finds that he has got a bit more time for them to work because the race is going to be finishing later because of the fact you've now got this safety car. You can add on 3 laps with the safety car being out on track. So Ash Sutton leads, but this is an absolute godsend for Josh Cook. He's just got second place, and now he's going to be on the parcel shelf, so to speak, of Ash Sutton Subaru when we go racing, because he'll be right on the tail of the race leader. 4.7 seconds was the gap, and now it's going to go out of the window.
But what isn't going to be good is they're going to lose tyre temperature. Yeah. They're going so slow. That's why they're weaving crazily. This is Plato moving across. There was a big gap there, but he came across fairly slowly.
In fairness, Brett Smith didn't really deviate.
No,
you could see what was going on, and he was content with that. So we are behind the safety car, which means we've got time for a big deep breath. It's been another barnstorming race, and Ash Sutton leads it, but now he's got his former teammate and his good friend Josh Cook behind him. So this is going to be a really fascinating end to the race. Dan Camish is back ahead of him. So look, second and third has been changed. Oh. There is Stephen Jelly involved in the Rob Collard incident. Rob into the barriers, but Stephen Jelly involved. But as I say, you've just seen on the track Camish back into second place. They've switched the places around.
Okay, yes.
There you go.
That makes it harder for Josh Cook on the restart because he'll have to still get past Camish if he's going to attack Sutton. That's assuming he has the faster car, but clearly they considered that the move was still being done as they got to the safety car board.
So In Forever Forward, Tom Ingram leads the Dunlop Forever Forward award by gaining 21 places thus far. Of course, he's got to finish the race there. Safety cars breed safety cars, don't you know? Senna Proctor, 18 places gained there. Paul Ridgway, Jason Plato, race engineer, will discuss the incident, discuss the state of the car, and discuss what they can do to make that as competitive as the car of Ash Sutton, which leads the way.
Yeah, disappointingly for Jason after Croft, you know, it's another meeting of disappointment for him, where he sees his teammate have a second in the first race, nearly win it, and winning this race.
It hurts enough when you're 20-something, but when your teammate is up the road, then it's an acute pain. Jason, we know, likes winning races and has won more than anybody else in the history of the British Touring Car Championship, and it's a real sadness to see him having another lean year like this. So, the race order at the end of lap 10 had Cook ahead of Camish. Don't forget, they've switched the places back around. So Sutton, Camish, Cook the top three, Smiley fourth, Tordoff fifth, Ingram sixth, ahead of Proctor, Oliphant, Jordan and Smith to round out the top 10. Big cheer for Ant Walton-Eales. He's not been in a touring car all season. He had a bit of an off in the first race, but there he is in the top dozen. I know because of the conditions, these are quirky races, but even so, he has again displayed good racecraft.
Yeah, and you have to have really good touch and feel. You know, we've seen how much the cars are moving about, how much they're sliding, how much on tippy toes they are, and it's where a driver with a good natural touch will feel that, and sometimes he can overcome perhaps a slightly inferior car in these conditions, and Walton-Eales has certainly done that.
That's right, the MG, a venerable car, but in the right hand, still competitive, and of course being run this season by Sean Hollenby's AMD tuning concern, which has the satellite Audi team, but now running the MGs, and is certainly doing a very good job with those cars. Shame that we've had Rory Butcher with the alternator problems early on in the race. There is Colin Turkington coming back down the pit lane.
Yeah, he's tested his car enough, and obviously decided no real points on offer, I assume. So he's retiring. But yes, the back to the Ant Walton-Eales story. I mean, he's in the car that was being driven by Tom Boardman, but Tom Boardman has had enough of this year's championship, and it created the opportunity in that car, which was going to be filled by Jake Smith, until a dispute with former team Hard meant that he could take up that opportunity. Let's have a word with Dan Lloyd.
Yeah, let's see if we can have a word with Dan while he's busy behind the safety car. Dan, it's been a bit of a busy race with drama, contacts, not of your making.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a busy race. It's been tough. The car's been mega, so it's disappointing. I'd like to be somewhere where my teammates are at the minute, to be honest. But yeah, I've got a bit unlucky in terms of who's hitting who, to be honest. But yeah, the car's been good.
Dan, it's Tim here. What's the track condition? Is it still spitting with rain? Are you losing tyre temperature?
It's not spitting with rain, no, but the track's still very greasy, so 100% just trying to work them as hard as I can now, because there's a lot of dampness on the track still.
Okay, good luck.
We'll leave Dan to it, because the safety car's going to be in, we think, this time around. So Dan Lloyd, good to hear from him. He is currently in 15th place and making his way now on to Bentley Straight. You've got there behind him, look, the car of Bobby Thompson. And they turn their way. Yes, the lights are out on top of the safety car. So down to the S's, we get ready to go racing. Remember, for each safety car lap, there will be one lap added on up to this maximum of 3. And so we will go back to racing this time. So is there enough time left in the race for maybe Dan Camish to make a move for the lead, or for Josh Cook to get past 2 cars and score a 3rd victory of the season?
There certainly is, and listening to Dan Lloyd, and the sort of his tone was that this is still very tricky. The track is still slippery.
Your point about the fact that they've got cold tyres again now has to be factored in as well. So Ash Sutton, he's got the advantage of being able to control the restart. He knows when he's going to accelerate. Now, say it again, safety cars breed safety cars. Everybody is bunched up. So does this put 1 or 2 people in jeopardy? Let's see. Sutton goes for it, coming out of Coram. Dan Camish goes after him as best he can, but he has a little bit of a lock-up there, going down towards the final turn at the end of lap number 12. Up towards the timing line. Sutton is away. Now let's see what that margin is. And look, Cook straight away becomes the danger. Over the timing line they go. Sutton leads the way. Camish is 2nd, Cook 3rd, Smiley 4th, and the gap is 8/10 between the top 2.
Yeah, Ingram had a good restart on Tordoff. Tordoff looks like he's gone a little bit deep into the first corner. Look, they're bunching up behind Lloyd. Smiley,
who's on the inside of Tordoff. Sam tries to go around the outside of him. This is Ingram's chance to get past the pink Ford, and he does so. Tordoff goes out wide, Ingram goes through. He's on the outside line for turn 3. Here comes Senna Proctor to try to get past Tordoff as well, and he's going to do it right round the outside. Great move by Senna Proctor.
Yeah, a little bit more grip there, so a poor restart, unfortunately, for Tordoff. Cammish is under pressure from Cook, who knows he's running out of time if he's going to do anything about Sutton.
And does this help Jack Goff at all? He's got lots of cars to try to wriggle away past as well. So it is still Sutton leading, then a bit of a gap. Cammish versus Cook for second. In the background, Bobby Thompson wide and up onto the dirt. It's a 14-lap race. This is lap 13, so there's 1 to go at the end of this. Where does Cook make his move against Cammish? Look, he looks the quicker of the two. Can he find a way by? And what about Ingram for 4th place at the expense of Smiley?
Well, running wide at the end, coming onto the Bentley straight was Cammish. Cook's got a run on the outside. It's a drag race down to the S's. Will Cook go brave it round the outside? He will. He's got his nose in front.
And what about Ingram to do the same to Chris Smiley? Tries it. They both break legs. Smiley stays ahead. Ingram coming out of Nelson. Tries to get the undercut. He goes to the inside for Bonhole. Tom Ingram is alongside the VTC Norlin Honda. He's going to go through. Another place gain for Tom Ingram. And now Senna Proctor comes up to challenge as well. Brilliant stuff.
Well, these are the days where you have to grind it out, and after disappointment of race 1, it's a typical drive by Ingram, and he's ground out a good result from this.
So, 1 more lap to go. Sutton it is that leads the way. Jack Goff has had an off, so has Bobby Thompson. Look in the background. Jack Goff ploughs across the meadow.
But the new race distance is 40 laps. We're on the last lap, and I tell you, Cook is coming. Cook is coming for Sutton in the lead.
0.8 of a second is the margin. Dan Cammish 3rd, dropping back a little bit. 4th is Ingram. Everybody else is 5th. It's Smiley just ahead of Proctor, just ahead of Tordoff and Oliphant and Jordan and Wharton Eels and everybody else diving into Wilson. Here are the race leaders. Can Cook get there in time? You're absolutely right. He's coming for him.
He's left Cammish and he's on the charge, definitely. Let's have a look at the first sector on this lap. We're coming up to a sector time in a bit. We haven't seen it yet, but I bet you Cook is going to have the quickest time. He does. He's a 10th quicker.
It's almost a repeat of race 1, isn't it? Except this time, Sutton is the one that is being reeled in, and it's Josh Cook in the position that Ash Sutton was in first time around. So for Jack Goff, it's now Ash Sutton. For Ash Sutton, it is Josh Cook. The gap is coming down and down and down. Corner by corner, straight by straight, sector by sector. It is the last lap of this extended 14-lapper, and half the lap remains, and you can see the gap is coming down. Josh Cook has a sniff of a win.
Yeah, and he's being brave. Sutton is giving it everything he can, but Cook is being braver still in second. He's going for another win.
Look, the gap is virtually nothing at all. They come down towards the S's through Brundle and Nelson. Subaru, the Levorg, the rear-wheel drive leading car out of the front-wheel drive Powermax Tag Racing Vauxhall Astra in second place. It is Ash Sutton ahead of Josh Cook. And Cook flings the car through Bombhole to try and take a tighter line. Has he got the momentum into Coram? Has he got the run? Ash Sutton, the reigning champion, knows how to win races, how to win titles. Can he cover the line coming into the final corner? There's no way through for Josh Cook. Surely nose to tail now.
But of course, Sutton was beaten to the line by a car in the last race, and here comes Cook. Will he have enough power to get there? I don't think he will. Sutton's going to win.
Ash Sutton wins for the 3rd time this season by 0.8 of a second, becomes 0.2 of a second on the final lap over the line. And Tom Ingram for the podium on the line is ahead of Dan Cammish. Tom Ingram takes 3rd from 27th. Cammish falls to 4th. Chris Smiley 5th. Sam Tordoff 6th. 7th Senna Proctor. 8th Oliphant. 9th Jordan. 10th at Wharton Eels. What a day of racing we are having.
Well, we've had 2 absolute belters of races to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee of this championship. Races worthy of this championship, and a great win for Sutton, but what a drive by Ingram.
So Tom Ingram, 27th on the grid. I know there were some gaps ahead of him as people had started at the rear after missing the pit lane, but even so, it was the 27th rank on the grid, and he comes through to take 3rd place. And fair play to Tom and to the Speedworks team, digging deep, getting on with life, not moping, not being put off the stroke by that problem. They just come out fighting in the next race. And another great drive by Josh Cook, who is another driver that's really come of age this season.
Yeah, he was unlucky because the moment he was passing Cammish for second was when he had that safety car.
Exactly.
Had that safety car board knocked him out, he'd have been in second a couple of laps earlier than he was, and he'd have had longer to challenge. I think he would have won.
Yes, I'd go along with that because he missed out by a fifth of a second. You know, one more lap and he would have done it. So, still, ifs and buts. Ash Sutton it is who wins for the third time this season, and a very appreciative, if rather damp crowd here at Snetterton. It's a breezy old day. It's been raining on and off, but they've enjoyed some brilliant racing. Round 17 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship won just by Ash Sutton by 0.221 of a second from Josh Cook, with Tom Ingram third, having started 27th. Dan Camish fourth, ahead of Chris Smiley and then Sam Tordoff. Senna Proctor 7th from Tom Oliphant, Andrew Jordan 9th, and the top 10 rounded out by Ant Wharton-Eales. 11th, Tom Chilton, ahead of Brett Smith and then Aidan Moffat. Bobby Thompson taking 14th, ahead of Dan Lloyd. Mike Bushell 16th, with Jack Goff out of the points behind him. James Cole 18th, Matt Simpson 19th, and into the top 20 this time, Sam Smelt. 21st, Matt Neal after spins. 22nd, Stephen Jelly after a spin. 23rd, Dan Welch. 24th, after a pit stop, Rory Butcher. And then the list of retirements: Rob Collard, Jason Plato, Colin Turkington, Ollie Jackson, Rob Austin, Michael Kane. And we're not done yet because Adam Morgan retired at the end of the opening lap. But, of course, they're all saved because the next race already has its grid decided, courtesy of that qualifying session yesterday. Ash Sutton wins race 2 of the day at Snetterton. We'll hear from him right after the break.